Become a Patreon of Java today and receive a ton of perks including Discord roles, early access content, private support channels, code snippets, and more. Join today at patreon.com/javajs. Alright, what is up guys? My name is Zua from Java. Today we're going to be doing FiveM NUI part 2, I guess. We're pretty much just going to get inputs, and we're going to go more in depth using our mouse in it too. It's going to be good, hopefully. And I want to say that the code that we write is going to be in the description below. It always is. And yeah. So first of all, I'm going to create, while I'm creating a new resource, I'm going to call it NUI2 in our resources folder. And in here, I'm just going to open up Visual Studio Code here. You can create a bunch of files. I'm going to create the files that we're going to be using. So it's going to be a resource.lua. We're going to be creating a whatever. Here, I'm going to move this back. We're going to be creating a NUI.lua. I mean, you can call these whatever you want. Just make sure you know what you're doing. And I'm going to be creating a folder called HTML, and in here we're going to use all the HTML. All the HTML that's going to be used for our resource will be in here. So I'm going to first show you this diagram. That's very good diagram here that I just drew up in Paint. So pretty much what we're doing here, I'll get it. Pretty much what we're doing here is I'm gonna show you what we did last time we did FiveM NUI. So all we did was trigger the NUI to listen for the JS file. The JS file listened to the NUI.lua, and when the NUI.lua triggered a NUI message, then it will show the HTML right here. But today what we're going to be doing is we're going to use the native.lua to trigger the index.js to show the HTML like we did last time. But this time we're going to have a callback of first of all, we'll be able to use our mouse and click around in it, and we'll also be sending data back to the native or the NUI.lua. We'll be sending data pretty much all around. So we'll be able to use the data that we type in through the HTML file. So I'm not going to be writing all the code for this. Some of this will be copy and paste because I just want to show you. I want to do this as fast as possible, and I want you to see. I don't want to go like in fully depth, but I'll show you the important parts of understanding it. So in the NUI.lua, let's start off in the NUI.lua. Actually, never mind. Let's start off with the resource.lua. I'm just going to be copying the resource manifest version. You can use our code. It's in the description below. And we'll also do client script of NUI.lua, and we're also going to have a UI page of HTML/index of the HTML folder, and inside the HTML folder we'll create a file called index.html. I'll do that right now. Sorry if that thing's in the way. Index.html. I'm going to drag that into the HTML folder, and I'm also going to be creating all the other things that we're going to be using. So index.js, I'm creating an index.css, and we'll also have reset.css. We used this before. It's a good reset.css. I'll just copy and paste that right now. Links in the description. You should have a reset.css because just in case your browser is cached or maybe from a different server, it might ruin or it might interfere with the NUI that's currently being triggered from a different server. So it's just good to completely reset it. And yeah, so like again, this code is in the description below for you to copy. So now we have to put all of these files in an array. HTML, so all the files that we just created, I'm just going to be putting it in here. So the first file is index.html, second one is HTML/index.js. I don't think there's an order that you need to follow. I think it's just fine. we're gonna need their index.css and then last but not least the HTML. Sorry, I cannot type. HTML slash reset.css. Sorry if it's echoing a little bit. We got new flooring and I don't have carpet, so it's gonna be a little echoey from now on, but hopefully it's fine. So we have our research.lua completely set up, so I'm gonna start off excuse me with the nui.lua. Okay, so close out of all that. Alright, in here I'm going to we're going to start off with writing the code. I'm going to create a variable like we did last time in the first installment of the NUI video. I'm going to be creating a variable false, and I'm going to make a command to register command NU. We'll just call it at /NUI, and it'll have a function source. We're not even using args, so we don't need to include args in this callback right here. But so I'm gonna do in here we're gonna be potentially when we actually write the code for it, we're gonna be setting up we're gonna be making it show the display or toggle the display. So I'm gonna create a function that pretty much just sets the display, so I'm going to call it setDisplay. I've seen people use this function in the same style, so I'm just going to be doing how I did it. So we're going to be setting the display variable as whatever our parameter, which is a boolean, so display is equal to bool, because essentially what we're doing here is we're just triggering it on, so we'll do setDisplay true. So you'll see how this function goes through all the parameters. So I'm going to do set NUI Focus true, or not true, I'm sorry, bool, because we're passing through this all. So this native, I think this just the first parameter, if I remember correctly, this lets you use your mouse, and then this lets you focus it on the second parameter, lets you focus it on the NUI and not anything else. I think, I don't remember. But you need that in the function. This function is gonna send an NUI message like what we did in the paint. I already closed out of it. Habit. We're gonna make it. Oh yeah, this has to be all caps. NUI message. Okay, that was. I didn't even notice that. Okay. Yeah, we'll have a type is equal to UI. Is that really true? Yeah, okay, so type of, not NUI, just UI, and then, what's it called? So what we're doing here in the second one, we're going to be giving it the status, which is equal to the bool, which is what we're sending it to. It all makes sense. You know, we did this before, but I wrote it really weird the first time around, but now I fully understand it. I'd say I'm kind of confident. So what we're doing here is bool. We're setting the status to bool, and in the index.js I'll show you how we're interpreting that data. So now what am I gonna do? Sorry, I just want to make sure if I spelled this or if this is right. Like, no, okay, it's not right. So I did that wrong. Okay, so it's just an NUI message. Here, I'm gonna edit that right now. But essentially what we're doing is just, you know, setting that equal to the bool, and we'll interpret it in that. We'll interpret it in there. So give me a second here. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so what we're doing now is we're not setting it to true, because we're just gonna make it toggle it, and to do that we're just gonna be setting it to the opposite of display, because that'll just it'll just do the opposite of the display variable. So that's pretty much it for that. What was I doing? Okay, so now what we're gonna want to do is I'm gonna create the function for the chat. I remember the first video I used the deprecated way, but now now I'm gonna be using the way that the people want me to use it. So to do it, to actually chat, they want it to be like trigger event, and then the first parameter is chat add message, and the second is an array or table as color. So if you didn't, I didn't even explain it, but str, and this is what we're going to be using to chat, and then the color, we'll just set color is equal to color, because this is supposed to be like a table, but you'll see when I actually use it, you'll see how I meant for it to be. And then multi-line is equal to true, and then args is equal to string. I feel like I'm gonna mess up, so sorry in advance, I guess. Okay, so now what we did there, you'll see what I do with this chat. We're just going to be handling the data with the chat. I'm not going to be saving it anywhere. I'll just show you how the data gets communicated. So let's start off with writing the NUI callbacks. So I'm going to do register. Nope, I'm going to do register NUI callback. It's really weird how they did that one in all caps. I don't know why, but what we're gonna want to do for here is the first is gonna be what we want it. You'll see what I mean if you don't know what I'm talking about, but we have to where we're gonna want to. This is just gonna give us a little endpoint to handle the data once we come back to it. So yeah, first one we're gonna do as the main route, which we're going to be handling the data. So this has a callback of data, and yeah, so what gets sent back to us from the index.js, like I showed in that diagram. So I'm going to have what's called chat data.text. So we're going to be sending it in an array or in an object in JavaScript. So it'll be sent back to us. The data, we'll call this key text in this file when we go to it. So it doesn't make sense right now, but it will, trust me. And then the second parameter, since it works, we're going to make it have a color of green, so RGB, that's that, if I'm correct. Okay, and then we're going to want to set the display of false. Okay, so now that we did that, what we're going to want to do now is we're going to make our other routes. Okay, so I'm going to do register NUI callback. I'm going to have one that handles errors, function, and then data. Once again, this time I'm going to make it data.error, because this will make it send back an error as the key pair. So then the second one, I'm going to make it red just to indicate that it's an error and it's bad. And then we'll have set display as false. Once again after that. I think it already does it when you submit, but I'm going to do this for safe measures. Now we're going to want to do another important route, which is exiting. Nope, that's the wrong one. Exiting, so it's going to be exit function data. Okay, we're not going to be calling any data back. We're just gonna make it say exited. I think that's how you. I don't know if there's two T's. I might be dumb, but yeah, let's just make it have green because it went well, I guess. So the error one has red value, and then this one, the main one, has a green value, and so does the exit. But we're not doing anything with the data on the exit route because we don't need to. So, yeah, and I gotta set display as false. Okay, there we go. So we're not done with this one yet. We're gonna have a loop that pretty much I don't want to write all of this out, but I'll write some of it out. Citizen dot create. I don't feel like writing that. So I'm gonna copy and paste this, and I'll just explain it to you from our GitHub. So pretty much what we're doing here is we created a thread, and then while the display variable is true, it will constantly run this, which pretty much I don't remember where I copied it from. Sorry about that. Okay, so what I was going back to, I was saying I just copy and pasted this thread from our GitHub. it'll be in the description below. But while display, the display variable up here, while it's true, it will constantly run this. What this does is it tells you right here, this disables looking left and right, this disables looking up and down according to your mouse, I guess. This stops your attacking. This stops enter, escape, vehicle override control, just so it doesn't go crazy when you have your mouse up. So yeah, okay, so now we're actually done with the Lua part. Let's go to the index. Actually, I'll do the HTML first, just to what's it called, just for it to be better and make more sense, hopefully. So I'm not actually gonna write all of this out, so it won't make sense. But here, I'll copy and paste it from the GitHub because it'll just take too long to explain it like I did last time. But what I'm doing here, so I link the reset.css, which we wrote right here, and the index.css, which we will write. We're linking the Jquery library through the game as a script tag in the header. We have a container here, which will show you how to use, which is important, by the way. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. I just realized I never ended this div tag. I'm gonna do that right now. I don't know why I don't do that, but yeah, okay. In fact, I don't even know. I think there's a reason why I didn't put it there, but I don't know. I think you're supposed to fix that. But I also have a form of ID is form where we get our values, the input right here. Just copy and paste, and then we're linking our index.js as a last part, because that's how JavaScript and HTML files work. So I'm going to go to the index.js, and I'm going to we're going to write the index.js. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to put this inside a jQuery function here. So to do that, we're just going to do function. This is going to be a lot of writing here, so yeah, stay with me. So inside this function, we're going to create another function. It'll be an actual function. We're going to call it display, and it's going to have a bool, just like our set display in the nui.lua. And so if the bool is true, then we're going to make the container, which I don't think even works. Container, it's going to be shown. But if it's not bool, then we will make it hide. Just like that. Okay. So what's it called? We're going to okay, yeah. So we're going to make it display false because we don't want it to. Just in case it is running, we don't want it to just show it. So I'm going to do, now to actually link the data to the NUI messages that are being sent from the nui.lua, I'm going to do window.add event listener, and we're going to be listening for the message event, and we're going to have a callback function of event, and then we're going to create a variable called item. So this is all in JavaScript, so if you're a little confused, you just gotta learn JavaScript, I guess. And this is specifically jQuery, which is a completely different thing. It's a really nice library. So we're gonna do var item is equal to event.data, and then if the item.type is equal to UI. So if the type of it is equal to UI, so if we go back here, we can see that we are sending the type, the NUI message is UI. So if we send it, then it's UI. And then now we're gonna check if the item dot status is equal to true, then it will display true. And if it's not, or if it's anything else than that, then it will display false. So what we're doing here, item.status is, like I said, item.status is the bool that we send through set display function, so that it'll always do it whenever that function is called. So yeah, that's that. Let's see where this ends. I think this, okay, yeah, so right here. So now we're going to do an important measure. We're going to do document dot on key up is equal to function data, and then if the button, let's see, if data dot which is equal to 27, then so I'm going to show you, I'm going to tell you what this means. So pretty much right here, this is if there's a button that is pressed, and specifically if the button number 27 is pressed, which is the escape key, it will exit the NUI, I guess. So to actually trigger it to leave or exit, we're gonna make a post request through Jquery, so it'll be $.post, and we're gonna be posting it to our callback that we created. So http://nui2. So we call it nui.nui2 because that's what the resource is called, and then the callback, which is /exit. So like I said right here, we created one called exit that will this callback is, you will call it to exit. So since we don't even, like I said, we don't even handle any of the data to the exit, we don't need to send any data. We're just going to send an empty array. So to do that, we're just going to json.stringify an empty object. So yeah, just like that. Yeah, so that's a good measure to take. And what is it? So now what we're going to do, if we go back to here, I'm going to split this up here. So if this button right here that we made, that I copied and pasted from the GitHub, it has the ID of close. So if we click on this close button, we're going to make it close. So to do that in Jquery, you just want to do $, it's called $hash close, because we're getting the hash, which is the ID, and then close, because that's called close. So hash close. So when it's clicked on, no, I don't know why I wrote that. Wow, okay. Click. It's going to do a function. I don't know why I just did end there. Lua, I guess. Okay, so if it does, we click on the close button that has the ID of close, we're just gonna make it exit. So we can just literally just copy this because we're not sending any data, and I'll just show you what sending data really looks like. So let's do that. Now we're actually gonna be using the actual submit button. The submit button that we're actually using right here is has an ID of submit, so we can do hash submit and then dot click function, and then that has then we're gonna make it send the data through. So what we're gonna create a variable. So I'm actually just gonna create a scope variable, which only this variable it'll only work in this scope. So inside, if input, we're going to be calling an input value is equal to the input that we actually write. So the input that we write is going to be called hash input because the ID of the input tag I called input. So if I actually can show you right now, without the CSS, this has the ID of that. So I'm gonna go back to that. So such input dot val, I think. Let me see. Off the top of my head, yeah. Okay, so that's input dot val, and we're gonna be checking for some conditions so we can use this callback right here, error, so we can send errors back. So if let's say if the person, I'm just doing this just to show you how just to show you how it works. So input value dot length, length is greater than or equal to 100 characters, let's say if it's greater than 100 characters, then we're going to make it have oh yeah, also I forgot to write this, I think, in the GitHub code. I'll have to update this after. We always want to add returns when we do this, just so it'll stop everything after this code is done executing. I should probably add that in after, but I'll just remember, I guess. So yeah, so if the input, if it's greater than 100 characters, we're gonna do we're gonna create a post request to our callback NUI 2/error, because remember that's what we called this right here. So to actually handle the error, we're going to, I'm actually going to zoom this out because this is hurting my eyes. Function, and then we're going to be using, or no, I'm stupid, I don't know what I'm doing. JSON.stringify. So since we're actually sending data back to this callback, as you can see, the error callback data.error, the key is called error. So what I'm going to want to do here is error, and then we could say the error that we want to put in it. So the error is input was greater than 100. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so if it's greater than 100, we can return. We always want to make sure we return. And then let's say if there's nothing even written, so if there is no input val, if there's no value inside that input, we can give it another error. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to say there was no input in the field. Okay. Yeah. So that's going to actually handle the errors. Now let's say if all goes well and the person knows how to use it and doesn't get any errors, we could do $post, and now we can actually handle the data, the intended data. So register the NUI callback of main. So I'm going to do http://NUI2, our resource name, /main, and now we can handle the data, JSON.stringify. Inside this, we're going to have, so I did data.text right here, how I handled it. So I'm going to do text, and we're going to put in the value of the field, so it'll be input value right here, the value that we get from it. And yeah, and we want to add the return, and yeah, that's pretty much done for the back end part. I'm going to do some front end part right here with the index.css right here, just to make it look a lot better. Just to make it look better and a little more user friendly. I'm not really gonna explain it because I don't think you came here for that. But yeah, so what I'm doing here is just making it none, the background none, so it won't have like a white background just in case it does. I know that happens with frameworks, CSS frameworks like Bootstrap. I needed that, but the container, I pretty much just made it like a square or a rectangle, and so did the buttons, so it looks a little better. If you want to see what it looks like, that's what it looks like. I'll show you how to use it in game. Let me get in game here for a second, and yeah, I'll see you guys. Yeah. Okay, so you know, how I said I was dumb for making it all caps. It wasn't actually working for some reason. Send NUI message, like the lowercase, this was not working, and even though the docs say it right here that it's send NUI message with 2 lowercase UI, I don't know why that is. I think that's just a mistake, but do send NUI, like all of that together, like all caps. I don't know why, I don't get it, but yeah, I'll do that. Sorry about that. And also end the container div. I guess that was also a mistake, but yeah, after you do that, I'm gonna restart NUI 2. I'm in my server now right here. Yeah, okay, I don't mean to do that. Okay, so I'm in my server now, and I'm gonna do /NUI like I did. It's gonna toggle the NUI As you can see, if I click close, it's going to say exited right up there. Sorry if my little thing is covering it, but it says exited in the green text. I do NUI again, and you can see that the mouse works and I can't move around or click enter. But let's say I want to do yes, or I say yes, it'll work and it'll say yes. Now let's see if the errors work, or like the handled errors. Let's say if I make it a bunch of letters here, I'm just going to copy and paste it. It should say that it's greater than 100 characters, and there it is. It says greater than 100 characters. I didn't even say that, but yeah. So let's also see if it works without any text. You can see that there was no input in the field. So all of that really works out. Let's see if I missed anything. No, not really. But yeah, that's pretty much all the routes, and that's how you do it. This video took a long time to make, so it would be really awesome if you could like the video or become a Patreon for early access stuff like this, and other stuff like voting for videos. That's what we do with the Patreons. But yeah, that's how you do it. Sorry if I didn't really explain the HTML and the CSS stuff. A lot of people just ask this video because they're confused about the JavaScript part and the NUI part and how it all works out, but that's totally fine. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and yeah, I'll see you guys later.